Hey guys, Matthew Johnstone here. Today we're going to be learning about disadvantages, why they matter, why they're important, and how you can fight and win with them in round. So, let's get started. Alright, what is a disadvantage? So a disadvantage is all the bad stuff that comes from an advantage from the plan or in general. There is always a disadvantage in any case, no matter what. Basically, like how in life, there's always a disadvantage to anything. So you just gotta find one disadvantage that works for you personally, or that works in the context of the plan. So basically, if the plan is to do plan A, which gets X and Y results, and you're gonna find a disadvantage that says X is bad because of these reasons, and you're gonna go with that for the majority of your arguments through that. That's how you fight with a disadvantage. On the negative, you're going to find the topic in the debate tub and read what applies to the F. So this is really important that you read through the cards before you read it in the round to the judge, because I can't tell you how many times I hear what the F is doing, what the advantage of their plan is. I go into the tub and I read the wrong things about it. So let me give you an example. Last year, I ran up against a app that had something to do with oil. So I went, oh, alright, oil. There's stuff in the tub about this. So I cut a bunch of oil cards, slapped it in a Word document, and I read that. And then in CrossX, I got killed because they weren't doing drilling. They were doing exporting or something like that. So it's really important to read through it and to make sure that it applies to what the affirmative is actually doing, so that you don't look like a fool in the middle of a round and waste entire speech minutes that would have won you the round. And you'll look really ridiculous if you run something that they're not even doing. So it's really important. And personally, I love disadvantages. They're my favorite argument because it just takes everything that the app does and says why they're wrong, why it doesn't work, and it works out really well. We've won several debates just through disadvantages and nothing else, because they're so great if you run them correctly, and if you got to practice beforehand, but they're really great. I urge you to do a lot of disadvantages because they're really fun to run as the negative. Now, how do you fight disadvantages? You should have a block prepared way in advance for any disadvantage you should hear or encounter. So when you're making your AF, basically, in the 1A, you're going to go, okay, what might they fight with this? What would they go against this advantage? And you're going to have a pre-written block set up for if they fight a certain advantage. You're going to have an answer to that in the 2A. There should already be blocks in the tub, or if they bring up something you've never heard, look in the tub for answers to. We do that a lot with our research, answers to certain arguments. So just go from that, remain calm, and it's really easy to fight disadvantages as the AF. You just have to be prepared and know have a general idea of what they're going to run, so that you can fight it and win the round from that. If your card says something completely contradictory to what the negative card says, explain to the judge why they should listen to your evidence instead of the other person's. So in round, if you read a card saying that your plan does work, and the opponents read a card that says your plan will not work, and you have these two cards, you have to go into it with the judge explaining why your card is correct, why you should win because of it, and that the other people, that their cards don't matter in the round. It can be something such as a date. It can be the writer of it, if your writer is way better than the others, like if yours is a professor in the field and their evidence is from like a newspaper or a magazine or something, then you can get them on that, and that'll win you that argument. That should win you that argument. Weigh which argument is more important if all else fails. So if they genuinely do have a disadvantage that you cannot fight, then you're going to go into it saying, all right, judge, so this does happen. However, because of our advantages, we feel you should still do the plan. I'll give you an example with what I did this year. We ran O-Tech, which sucks up water and stuff to make it electricity and stuff other than that. But a disadvantage we ran into a lot was biodiversity, that we kill fish and all that stuff. So because we do kill fish with our plan, we have to say, all right, Judge, you have to weigh human lives, getting clean water, getting food, over fish's lives. And you'll have to do something like that with your plan. But you should have a already pre-written way to fight basically a lot of disadvantages that you'll hear. And if you don't have something, then make sure you say it in class or something so that we can find answers too, so we can fight it as a squad together. Alright, this is mostly for negative again. Why you should do them. I told you this before, they're my favorite thing to read. They're just so much fun to go into a round, hear what they have to say, and then have just block after block of why they can't solve. And mostly judges will listen to that and they will give you the win if you can persuade them that their plan won't work. It's really great. The trick is to pile them with so much disadvantages in the negative block, they will be forced to drop something or they won't answer something you said correctly. So what I did a lot with my partner is my partner went up and read something in the 1N, like a counter plan or something, and he didn't read a lot of disadvantages. And then the 2A came in and they fought off whatever my partner said. What I did in the 2N is I read so much disadvantages, just disadvantage after disadvantage, why it doesn't work, why it fails, why you kill everything, and just it worked. It worked so well. We won so many debates and we won tournaments because of that. You just get them to drop something really important if they don't understand or they don't hear something that you make an argument for, and then that will win you the round if you go into it in the rebuttal and say, hey Judge, they completely dropped this argument that leads to their downfall. And the best is, this is kind of a little cheap, but when the affirmative has so much time to prepare and as negative you don't, you're in the round and then that's the first time you hear what you're going to be talking about. It is fair and it is really fun to just pile on the disadvantages. And it's really funny watching them try to answer it, honestly. It's really fun to see them hustle and get all their stuff together in the rebuttals to fight off your new arguments. And then basically you get to explain why the plan sucks. You get to explain all the bad things that'll happen if the judge votes affirmative. And that's a great thing. It's so much fun. I really urge you guys to do so many disadvantages because it's just so much fun. It really does work. And yeah, thank you for watching. Go win some rounds, guys.